because times are going to get hard. Trade wars are starting. Our economy is almost bankrupt. He's saying a civil war in this country next 5 years. The next atrocity, and an atrocity is always coming down the line in this country and in Europe. We've got stabbings and murders in Europe, every week. I think the world is changing. I think we all know the world's changing. I think the post-World War II order is coming to an end. I think it's not going to be over very soon, but we're at the beginning of the end of the post-World War era. And that's the globalist era. That's let's all work together. Let's trade. Let's be friends. No more wars, pink and fluffy, hugging kisses. And we can live in a utopia. And that worked for many, many decades in the West. But nationalism, human instinct is coming to the fore now, and we're competing with each other, and we're going back to tribalism. And I'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
For individuals, what would I be recommending individuals do at the moment over the next 6 months? Well, the first thing I would do, and I'm doing, is you need to consolidate your finances and your debt.
Yeah.
Because times are going to get hard. Trade wars are starting. Our economy is almost bankrupt. We could go into recession so we're probably in recession as we speak.
Yeah.
Benefits are being caught. We can't borrow any more money like we used to. We're in a bad situation in this country, and we've got lots of personal debt. So if I'm out there listening to that, what I would do now is I would look at my financial situation.
Yeah.
I would cut what I don't need to spend. I'd start paying off as much debt as possible. I'd be looking, at different investments if you've got, depending what situation you're in, but finances are number one because it's going to get tough over the next few years.
Yeah.
So definitely do that. Next thing I would be looking at is I would start thinking about violence. Violence is coming. I did a podcast last month with a professor of war studies at King's College London, Professor David Betts.
Yeah, I listened to that. It's very good.
Yeah. So you listen to it. He's saying a civil war in this country next 5 years.
Yeah.
What it doesn't mean is like the old English Civil War with the Cavaliers and the Roundheads and armies and battles. He's talking about Northern Ireland troubles. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about society fracturing, which is already doing. He's talking about tribalism, which is already doing. He's talking about drawing lines along ethnic lines. All these things are already happening.
Yeah.
We just haven't hit the violence part yet. And that's going to... We had a little bit of it last summer in Southport, but the government came down on that hard and fast and managed to keep a lid on it. The next atrocity, and an atrocity is always coming down the line in this country and in Europe. We've got stabbings and murders in Europe, every week.
Yeah.
One's going to happen in the UK again. And I'm not sure the government will be able to keep the lid on the violence this time.
No.
I think there'll be...
I think they're fueling something.
Well, and that's what this professor was talking about. He was saying the government at the moment is trying to keep a lid on things by using the tactics they know. But he's saying the tactics they know and they're using is actually contributing to the future violence.
Yeah.
It's just kicking the can down the road, and the can's getting bigger and bigger every time they kick it down the road.
Yeah. So
you need to be looking at where you live, your house security, what you're going to do if the cities, start turning in. I'm not talking about a single riot. I'm talking about mass violence. I'm talking about bombs going off, people being shot, people being stabbed. So, some white kids might start a craze of ripping hijabs off of Muslim women. So the Muslim community respond by stabbing some white lads.
Yeah, it doesn't take much like that. One instance is
exactly.
Like Nick Lowell's making that false accusation about similar situation. Terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. And then somebody then gets a gun and shoots someone. So then someone plants a bomb in a house of worship. Then somebody gets a machine gun. It can ratchet up very quickly.
Yeah.
So people need to be aware of that. And then if you rely on the state for your part of your income or all your income, or you rely on the state for your business, you need to start looking at, can you survive without the state?
Yeah.
Because the state's not going anywhere, but benefit cuts have already started. Huge cuts will be coming over the next few years. Welfare is going to be cut. Government contracts will start diminishing because they won't have the money to put contracts out.
Yeah.
The whole way we do business in this country and our whole economy will be changing. So people need to be aware of that. So if you're sat on your backside now and all your money comes from universal credit or disability benefits, you need to be you need to be thinking, I need to get a job. And
Totally, yeah.
plenty of jobs out there. But those are the big things that I think are coming down the line. And Trump started it yesterday with tariffs.